Welcome to Bulletproof Notion, the operating system 2.0, and this is the new layout that I set up. So if you're just getting into Bulletproof Notion, for a while I kind of on an interim basis gave you the choice between the old layout and the new. Now I'm just giving you the new layout. Trust me, you'll thank me later, because all I'd be doing by giving you the old one at this point is delaying the inevitable, which is then you'll have to sort of manually rebuild the new layout for your firm. I promise you this one works much better, and I do not anticipate, I've had this one going, I purposely didn't do this yet because I've had this one going for a while now, and I really wanted to make sure I wasn't going to just keep making changes, because frankly every time I make a major change like this I have to re-record the whole entire course, so I don't want to do that again. But let me show you, this is a quick start guide, so I'm going to show you just very quickly how to get set up and how to get started, and then you'll go through the lessons and use the community to get more help, you know, in terms of getting deeper with this stuff. But this should be a very short video designed to show you exactly how to get started and sort of what to do at a minimum, what you'll want to know how to do. So when you first sign into the course, you should be looking at something like this. Right, you're in the course's dashboard. Right here it says get the latest version. You'll click this link and you will get something that looks like this. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you're not logged in like I am. Up here you'll see where it says made in with Notion, and you'll click this duplicate icon. Now before you do this, make sure that you're logged into your own Notion account in the same browser session, because when you click that icon, it's going to prompt you to duplicate this whole system of templates into your own Notion account so that you can actually start working with them and edit things and update things and do all the things that I'm about to show you that you can and should do once you have access to your copy of this template. Okay, so if need be, pause the video, go log into your own Notion account. If you haven't done so yet, go get a Notion account and log in, and then follow those two steps and duplicate the system. It may take a minute. You may need to wait a minute while it does all the duplicating, because on the surface this doesn't look like a whole lot, but I promise you there's so much stuff going on, or there's so many different hoods in here, and you'll get familiar with this and you'll come to learn about all of that as you go. Okay, so pause the video, make sure you can get your own copy so that you're looking at it on your screen, and instead of the options you just saw, you have these options here, which are to share it and star it and do all kinds of other wonderful things. And then once you're here, the first thing I want you to do is, and this is in general, everywhere throughout these templates where you see BPN, I want you to replace that with your firm. So if your firm is called, I like to pick on my friend Rachel, if your firm is called Gentle Frog Bookkeeping, then BPN should become Gentle Frog Operating System, and you can just get rid of where it says new layout, right? And put your firm name here, and just having this information right here, this becomes your central hub for everything. It's very handy, so take the time to fill this out. This is something we'll talk about later, but in general, as you can see, it's a place where you can write a sticky note as like a high-level reminder, something you want to remember every day, like this is my goal for the year. Focus on this, leave the rest out, right? But the first thing you're probably going to want to do the first minute you're getting into this is start getting your clients set up. So let's go into that. I'm going to click in here to where it says clients, and by the way, pro tip, browser tip, if I hold down control while I click this, it will open it in a new browser tab, so I can sort of keep my place here and then go into the clients list. Okay, so here I am in the clients list. There are no clients yet. So over here where it says new, anytime you're looking at a database like this, and each of these things like clients is a database, projects is a database, that's how this is set up, and you'll come to understand all this stuff and how everything kind of links together, right? So if you click this little drop down here to the right, you'll see in any of these kind of tables, you'll see whether or not and where there's a template. So here we just have the new client template. Notice it says it's the default, which means all you have to do is click new, right? But it's a good habit to get into, to click that drop down first and check. Maybe there's multiple templates. And I can assure you almost where you see multiple templates, it'll become clear what the context is, and for that matter, which one you need in this particular moment, right? For creating new clients, this is all you really need. Okay, so the new client template comes in and it has three main sections, right? The main menu, quick tasks, and quick notes. Okay, And the idea here is to kind of put things at your fingertips later on as you go on and you get more comfortable with how to use Notion itself. I can have you even repurpose this and make it look more like what your hub looks like, so that within each client you'll have a similar kind of menu down the left and so on. But for now, this is going to be helpful, I think, especially when you're just getting started out. And now you've got the two major databases, right? Any notes that you want to take. And using the example of what I said, if you click this drop down, you'll see I have general notes. BPN again is Bulletproof Notion. These are notes you can take when you're on a phone call with somebody or a Zoom call. A meeting agenda template, and then meeting agenda for large groups. And when you go through the lessons, you'll understand what distinction I make. Large groups I define as really where there's probably 3 or even significantly more people in a meeting, where you want agendas submitted ahead of time to save time, right? That's the difference. The basic meeting agenda template is what most of you are going to use for most of your meetings with clients internally, whichever. And as you click into these and create them, you'll see, you know, which ones you like and which ones you don't. And you just sort of take what you need and leave what you don't. And eventually you'll learn how to create your own sort of custom templates, okay? Over here is where you can create tasks. There's only one new task template. And as you'll see, it invites you to answer these questions. And I strongly encourage you to do that. In fact, at this point, I hardly ever go below this line to add additional notes. I find that when I take the time to just answer these questions thoroughly, and it usually doesn't take long, the simpler the task, the faster this is, then I tend to have everything I need to understand the full scope and context of what needs to be done when, and most importantly, what needs to be done next. So that's how you'll add tasks. And don't worry, we can add all kinds of clarity around this. You can browse the statuses. Most of this is going to be pretty straightforward. This is a table. If you click here, you can see it in a week-long view. And by the way, that makes it easy. So if I decide I'm going to work on this tomorrow, I can just drag it. Okay. And then here's a month view, which same idea, but instead of just a week, I can see a whole month, right? So most of this is really straightforward. With notes, you just have the one view table of notes, but you'll see over time how you can carve up your own views and create the views that you want. Okay. Under main menu, it's basically like everything else, including what's also up here. So you have bookmarks, right? You'll learn how to use bookmarks and why it's so powerful, especially if you take the time and discipline yourself to set up your bookmarks in a system like this. This links back to a master database of bookmarks that you can use across all of your clients, so that you can assign things to specific clients based on what you need for that client. The same thing is true when you get into a project. If I go to create a new project, for example, and I'll let the template load here for a second. Each project has its own view of the bookmarks database for bookmarks that are assigned to this project, meaning you literally have everything you need at your fingertips while you're working on that thing, right? I'm going to move this to trash. Okay, we can get out of here and back to clients and back to our new client template. Of course, this gets renamed based on the name of your client, right? So this would be client X or whatever. And then back down here, this will be another view of the same stuff you're seeing up here. It's just, again, I didn't want to leave it out. So you have two ways of looking at it, right? And you can change this stuff. Like I said, over time, you'll learn how to do just that. Notes, also another view of what you've already got up here. Documents, this is, you're going to link to, let's say, Google Docs as a file attachment, or you can drag an Excel or a Word document or PDF, you know, whatever you need. That's all. If it's a document, it goes in the documents database. If it's a document for this client, it goes in the documents view for this client, but you'll also find it in your master documents database. And same with contacts. Contacts is your little Notion-based CRM where you keep track of all your contacts for this client, and they also live in the master contacts database, meaning, once again, you have access to everything you need at your fingertips wherever you may be. So if I go back up to here, and I'll kind of use my breadcrumbs to get back up to the top, over here, if I go to documents, I'm going to see documents for everyone, for every client. But at the same time, if I go into a client and I look at that documents view, I'm only going to be looking at that client's documents based on what I've assigned to them. Right? So that's your quick start guide. That's how you get in. You've now seen in very quick fashion how to get into and create a new client, how to set up tasks and notes and all the other things that you need associated with that client. And if you go back to your main hub here, and go back to these pages on the left, each of these pages, as you can see, is a window into those same databases with your global view. So everything global is right here on your left from your main operating system page, and then everything with context is based on what client you're in or what project you're in, and so on and so forth. And of course, tasks are also associated with projects and so on. So anything you need is linked up in the appropriate way. And if you have any questions, if something's unclear, then use the community and jump in there and let me know. I'll get with you right away and make sure that you can keep moving forward and get set up immediately with this system.